Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Matt Ogden and I've got a very exciting video for you here today. I'll be talking all about the new HX Stomp presets that I put together for all you bass players out there. It took me a while to get a hold of this platform, but it's very exciting. I think it's a great bang for your buck for all the things that this thing is capable of. And man, I really think I was able to craft some inspiring sounds. I had two distinct goals when I sat down to make some presets. So one, in the event that you're using the Stomp as a standalone rig, it's the main or the only pedal that's in your pedal board that you're rocking. I really wanted to capture the tones that I've been using and putting together during my time with Bethel Music, on tours, playing on various albums and doing session work for lots of people. The Tone Hammer preamp DI from Aguilar has been a real staple part of my sound. I love it with my bass. I love it with so many things. I've put so many pedals against that thing and it's just been so hard to beat. But man, with this, I really feel like I was able to capture why I like that pedal so much in a really unique way. So I'm really excited to show you those. But goal number two was, if you're using the Stomp in your chain as added effects or something like that, I wanted to also put together some patches that you can slap on to really take your tone to another level, to find some different vibes and different things that you might find inspiring. I found them inspiring. So excited to show you all of that. Now, I really don't want this video to just be me showcasing tones and that's it. I really want to get you into my thought process of why I crafted the sounds the way that I did on my particular bass. I want to show you how I dial in my bass, how I play it, and why, and those kinds of things, just to get you in my head. And as you're trying to translate these presets to your playing and your bass, hopefully you can understand my thought process to help you along the way as you're making tweaks to really fine-tune it. So without further ado, let's check out these standalone presets and see how you like them. Here we go. All right, here is the core standalone preset. So I like this preset and I'll talk about why. Let's talk about the Tone Hammer for a second. So one of the reasons I really love the Tone Hammer is it's very dynamic. I can play really chill and it sounds pretty boomy and it's going to sit in the mix nice and just be a really chill, nice, well-rounded tone. But I can dig into it. I can switch to a pick tone. And then I can also really start digging in. And it starts to bring out more of that saturation. So it's very dynamic. I can cover a lot of dynamic stages without touching a single thing. So the Tone Hammer feels that way to me, and I was able to accomplish that with this pedal. Now, the most important thing that I want to start showcasing is the way that I'm dialing in my bass. So I've got this jazz bass. I at one point switched out the pickups to Lawler J pickups. They make fantastic pickups. There's a lot of great pickup companies out there. I love the Lawlers. Now, when I put the Lawlers in, it really changed things for me. So the amount of gain that I was dialing in on my Tone Hammer, a side note, I always have the AGS button on at all times on the Tone Hammer. So, but I was having to gain that thing up till like 3 or 4 o'clock very high to get the amount of saturation that I wanted. But when I switched the lollers in, it was like, whoa, very hot, very responsive. So I dialed everything back to like 11 o'clock or something like that. Sometimes a little more if I was feeling up to it. So it's very important to note that the way I dialed in these patches, you might have to up some of the gain. There's a few different ways I'm getting gain in the HX Edit app, but the most important effects that I'm using for the saturation that I like is the retro reel like tape kind of plugin in the modulation section. So find that pedal or find that effect and you can turn the saturation up a little bit there. To me, that felt like the most natural, sort of on the lines of the tone hammer. The tone hammer is modeled off of the vintage Ampeg V4B heads, and they did a very, very, very excellent job of modeling after that, the valve breakup from that. So to me, the combination of the amp head that I picked in the HX Edit app and the retro reel, and also the like microphone preamp, like studio preamp or whatever, those were how I was getting the gains, or the saturation I mean. But the saturation I liked the most was from that retro reel effect. So anyhow, let's get back on focus here. So I really liked the responsiveness of the gain. Now, what I'm going to show you on this is very important. So I've got this jazz bass. I've got round wound strings on this thing, so it's a lot brighter. I'll talk about my pick tone. Now, I've been using these 0.8, I think they're 0.88 millimeter or 0.85 millimeter. I kind of jump back and forth between the two, but this thickness to me is like crucial to the sound. Any thicker, it's like things would start sounding a bit like plucky and not very, it didn't have a depth to it. But much thinner, it was like totally weak and not powerful enough to drive it. But this to me was just the right amount of give. And there's a technique I want to cover as well. When I just play it dead on, it doesn't really sound that great, but I angle the pick a little bit and sort of scrape it across the string on my attacks. And that gives it a bit of a thwack. So you can hear the difference between. It has a little bit more fullness and body to it. And last thing is I'll talk about my tone knobs. So I've got the tone knob all the way up, and then, sorry, the pickups isn't what I meant. So the neck pickup, I'm all the way open, all the way. And I'm blending just a little bit of the bridge pickup. But check out what happens on this when I close, or sorry, wow. When I turn the bridge pickup all the way up. Watch this. That's all the way up. And I'll open it back up. A world of difference. When I start taking away a bit of that bridge pickup, it just, to me, the sound opens and it's way less nasally and plucky, and that feels just mean and aggressive, right? So the reason why I'm doing that is showing you, hey, this is the way that I play my bass. This is how I dial in, and why it's so crucial to the tone. So if you can just get that in mind as you're pulling up these presets. I'll actually show you a real clean, just DI, me playing a clean DI, just so you can hear my bass and kind of hear like, oh wow, a lot of the tone is just coming from my bass itself and my playing. Anyways, okay, so let's move on to some other presets here. I'm going to jump to the rest of the standalone presets. So the core, I have an aggressive one and a colossal one, and I'll talk about those here. Let's jump to it. All right, here is the core sound once again. Kick it up to the aggressive. Very cool. It's got a nice, mean, full-bodied saturation to it, a little bit of compression and whatnot. Feels true to the tone hammer-esque drive, or a step up from the core preset. I'm actually getting that distortion in a little different way. It's not just, gained up a little bit. I actually put a drive on it and had to adjust the EQ because it added a little bit too much of the high mids and whatnot. So very cool sound. Now the last standalone preset is the Colossal, and this is me trying to recreate the signature Microsynth sound. It's been very difficult, and I've got a good friend, Adam Kaiser, who tried to accomplish the same thing, and I ran into many of the same problems that he did as well. The reason being, man, that pedal on bass is so unique. So the most important note about the Microsynth and the tone hammer is you've got to run the Microsynth, bass, then Microsynth, then tone hammer. The tone hammer kind of squashes it and gives it a nice compressed, controlled chaos a bit there. But the low end on the sub, the tone hammer's low end is so tight. Very nice. The low end, like the sub octave on the Microsynth, is very tight. It's so like boomy and just focused. A lot of the low end I found on the Stomp is kind of a little washy, and it was really hard to get that nice tight low end with this. The other thing is when I was dialing in the Colossal patch, I had to push things to the very limit. Like a lot of octave pedals I've worked with, where it's like you turn the sub on and as you're playing it, and it's like if you play it a little too aggressive, the sub starts to warble out and drop and disappear. It's kind of a weird thing that happens with it. So I ran into the same thing with a lot of the octave effects on the Stomp. And so I kind of had to bring it up just enough to where it kind of stayed intact. But I just couldn't get as much out of it as I wanted to. So, okay, I'll go ahead and play that for you here. That's the aggressive. Here we go. You could even hear on that last note, it kind of dropped out. But it stays intact there. So it's a really full-bodied sound. Again, the thing that sets apart the Microsynth is it's got that square wave that with everything else it's playing along with, it really sounds like an intense fuzz pedal, but you get a nice sub-octave that's not really distorted or anything. It's a really pure sub-octave, and it's just stacked on top of these crazy fuzzy square wave synthy kind of things. So you can really like jump and play up in the register on the neck and still keep this nice rich low end intact. And so with here, I feel like you can pretty much do the same thing. It feels like a great final gain stage. It's not quite as fuzzy and crazy though. And again, I added as much saturation and craziness that I could that didn't start messing up the rest of the sound for my bass. So I kind of pushed it to its limit, in my opinion, with chasing after a sound like this. Now, a lot of the fuzzes and things that I was pulling up was just altering the tone way too much and taking away just the normal full-bodied tone. So yeah, this is me wrangling as much as I can together to get that sound. Sounds pretty great. I am happy with how it turned out, and I hope you are as well. All right, moving onward to the effects presets that I put together. I'll try to be a little more quick with these. I was really impressed with how this was able to add to my normal sound. Very happy with it. So, but right now I have the Stomp hard bypassed, and here is just the tone hammer sound I have right now. Very cool. Classic, that's me. Now I will kick on this clean preset I have on the Stomp. And the reason why I put this together was because I noticed, at least for how I had it set up, was I have to, press those two buttons to hard bypass it if I want, don't want the Stomp on or affecting anything. So I was like, well, what if I just had a preset that was just clean and I was adding a little bit of compression and color that just made it nice. So sounds great. Sounds like my normal sound. I'm very happy with it. Nice. I like a little light compression on it. It feels really nice. So I'll add, I'll just kind of click through these. This is an extra byte. I'll go back to the clean. Kind of has a cool character to it. I like it. Here's the drive. That's the drive preset, and it's yeah, it feels a little bit more like I don't know. It feels a little bit more the same character. The extra byte is just a little, feels a little, deviates slightly from it in a good way, though. It kind of still keeps everything intact. Now here's the angry. Feels so fun. That's the drive. Yeah, that just feels like such a good time to play. Very exciting, a lot of energy. Again, it's still kind of the same classic sound, and I'm wanting just to kind of add these little flavors and elements to the tone that deviate a little bit, so you can kind of switch back and forth and find cool placements in songs to make the bass stick out in a cool way. I've noticed that as a producer, it's like, especially in a lot of worship sounds with the bass, it's like you're playing, you're doing your thing, and you pretty much want to find subtle ways to set apart the sections. And to me, these effects create a lot of fun opportunities to just create small little, oh cool, the bass did a little something different there and it felt nice. So last one, here is this fifths. I don't know, pretty interesting. Has a bit of pitch modulation happening there, and it just makes every note sound so fun to play. so mean and fun and just, I don't know, man. I've liked these effects a lot. So, all right, that about wraps it. I hope it was fun showcasing all this. I have a few extra thoughts I want to share at the end of this video. Man, thanks for sticking around. That was a lot to cover. Couple last things before I wrap up this video. I wanted to show you just my bass and a clean DI. I have the Rupert Neve DI. It's an excellent DI for bass. And I just wanted to show you, here's my bass. And I'm using the pick, same pick tone. I'll bring up my bridge pickup all the way. There's with the bridge rolled back. Goes up. Man, feel that difference. It just feels like it closes everything off and makes it weirdly percussive. And you know, for the sound that I'm going for, it's just not working. So you can just tell I wanted to make that more transparent. I'll kick on my tone hammer. Also, here's the tone hammer without the AGS. You know, you can hear the nice EQing. Here's the AGS. Got a little carried away with that progression. What else do I want to show you? The Microsynth. So I'm just showing you all of my tones so you can kind of stack them against each other. So I'll kick on the Microsynth how I normally like it. Really crazy. But check out the sub right here. So tight, it's so focused. And then I'll bring in the other elements. Anyways, so I kind of wanted to just show you what I was talking about earlier, about my clean tone, the normal tone hammer, and the Microsynth there. So I hope that you hearing all of that you are happy with these presets. I really spent a lot of time crafting things as much as I could to make it feel like me and feel inspiring, and it feels true. Like I have a good time while I'm playing it. Like I'm not annoyed. I feel like I can be myself in my playing. And so I hope all of this was helpful for you to see. I hope that it just takes you a little bit into how I approach tone. And most importantly, I hope that you enjoy the presets. I hope that as you put them into your rig and get your bass up and playing, that you're able to tweak things and really make it feel true to how you're wanting to craft your tone. And if you're trying to do my thing, please take into consideration all the other elements that I talked about. I hope that it helps you have the right mindset as you're going and crafting things with your own bass and whatnot. So, all right, well, thank you for sticking around. I know that was a lot to cover, but I really wanted to set you guys up as best as I could as you're picking up these presets. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Have fun.